Today reviewing the DayPow server rack battery. So this is 48 volt, 100 amp hours. So we're going to look at the features and specs, get into the teardown. I know you're interested in that, and then charge it up, capacity test, and finish off with the summary. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that now. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, let's tear into this. Let's see what it looks like, and let's begin. Now that it's unboxed, looking at the battery, so the terminal lineup is a little bit different from a lot of the other batteries. As an example, most server rack batteries will have the positive terminal on the left, and then on the opposite side will have negative. You do have sometimes the opposite with watt cycle and hump sync. They'll have it reversed. And then the Vatchers have the positive once again on the left, negative on the right, but they are positioned more towards the center. So I bring this up because if you are going to put together a rack of batteries, you're going to want them to be the same. That way your cables are the same length. So once again, two positive terminals, two negative. Does have a breaker that is 500 volts, and I believe it's 125 amps. We'll turn that on. I can see if this lights up now. Let me press this power button. Here's the screen. It's showing it at 51%. Hit the gear icon. You can see the hardware version of it. You can adjust the brightness of the screen. There's the website, daypow.com, and then their support email address. Click on the battery. You can set up the communication for RS485. So you pick your inverter. So for me, it would be Lux Power. And it should be set up now to work with it. On the side, here's the rest of the specs. So once again, it is a 48 volt lithium iron phosphate battery. 50 amp is the max charge current. 100 amp is a max discharge. It is made for indoor only, and it weighs 110 pounds. To open up the battery, you're going to need a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. Looking at the inside, instead of having fiberboard, it does have plastic to protect the cells, so you can move that out of the way. You can see it's your standard 16S configuration as a pure copper bus bar connecting the two rows of cells together. Does appear to have 4 temperature sensors. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Pretty good cable management, except for this last section where the wires are loose, but for the most part, it is pretty good. What I do like, it does have spiral wrap there and zip ties attaching it. On this back section, it is attached, but then you can see there's these 2 additional clips, which would be for these wires to zip tie them up. Does use that spiral wrap all the way down, connecting your balance leads and also your temp sensors, and all of that is zip tied on. The cells are welded. It appears to have good welds to it. You can see that each of the welds is checked, and there is a check mark or a line for each one. All of the cells are held together securely. I like that it's actually using metal brackets holding it all together instead of just strapped or taped. This is going to be a lot more secure. And then you can see that how it's bolted down to the case itself. So this is definitely not shifting. It's not going to go anywhere. And since the cells are about 1 inch away from the end, if there's any sort of shipping damage, you wouldn't have to worry about damage to the cells. However, on the back, something important to note, there is no protection for this positive bus bar. I would add either plastic back here or have fiberboard. And the reason being is if this was dented in, as you can see, I'm moving it, it might touch those terminals and potentially short out. So that is one recommendation that I would make. You can see how the battery terminals, here's your positives, how that it is nice and wrapped to help protect the cable. And here it is going into the circuit breaker, which is a double breaker, which is very nice. So you actually have two 4-gauge wires going into this, which is pretty phenomenal. So that I do like to see. Normally, I'll see a single 4-gauge cable with a lot of batteries, but this has two. What that does is when you have this under heavy load, it's going to keep the resistance in check and also keep that heat down on the inside. So I do like that. That is pretty cool to see. You have your two negative connections, once again, a pair of 4-gauge wires, and that's going to be protected and go all the way over to the BMS. And then once again, from the BMS to that negative terminal. And then here's your negative bus bar, then there's your positive bus bar. As far as the cells themselves, it's a little bit difficult for me to actually determine the manufacturer because of how these terminals are welded on. I can tell that they are prismatic, and you can see that it's a typical blue wrapper that's around each cell, but I can't tell the manufacturer at this time. You can see your connections for your power button and then also the 3 for your communication. All of the connections are glued to ensure that they don't loosen up. So this is for all the battery connections and also the balance cables and also your temperature sensors. Now that it's all charged up, we're going to go ahead and start the capacity test. Looking at the capacity, so it ended up 99.96, so just under 100 amp hours. Now, this is a 100 amp hour battery. Typically, I'll see anywhere from 103 to 106. So this one is definitely lower than the rest. Not sure if it's the BMS that's kind of limiting things. Maybe it's not going by voltage and instead it's looking at SOC. Not sure on this, but it definitely did test under most other batteries. In summary, there's some aspects of the battery that I liked, others that I didn't like. So let's go over what I liked. First, for the price point for $599, it is a good price. I think it's the least expensive server rack battery that I've come across. It does have oversized wires that are connecting the breaker to the terminals and also to the BMS. It has a pair of 4-gauge wires, which is really nice to see. It's got a DC rated breaker. It has a nice LCD screen. Things that I didn't like about it. So when it comes to the case in the very back, if that case was ever dented in, it would short out because the bus bar is about a ½ inch from the case. And I've seen these cases dented in before. So that's something I would worry about with shipping. All of the connections, I see that they were glued, but I didn't see any marks highlighted on them, which would show me that they were torqued. I believe they were. It is glued, but there's no way for me to know for sure. I did try to check the cables and everything was tight, but once again, I didn't see the typical torque marks that I would normally see. Other things, it didn't test full capacity. It tested just under. Typically for a 100 amp hour battery, I'll see 103 to 106. This tested at 99, just a hair under 100. So I'd like to see it test higher. I don't know if it's a BMS that's cutting it off prematurely or if it's just that's all the cells can do. But that's one thing that should be improved upon as well. So overall, things that I like, things that I believe need to have improvements. For the price, maybe it's a good deal for you. If you're looking to get a bunch of batteries, I'll leave that one up to you. So that's it. Please check out winsolarforum.com, the forum for the channel. And if you haven't liked, subscribed, please do that and leave a comment about this review. Thanks again for watching Mike Solar Garage.